Oh, there we go. There we go. What's going on, guys? Finally, I'm here. Only 4 minutes late. Look at that. Let me send out the links. How's everyone's Monday going, or almost Tuesday? How's the microphone, by the way? I hope everyone can hear. There's no problems. No, that's not. Why does it do that? It like saves my link that I didn't do for like ever, but not the link I just copied. YouTube. Sorry, the camera's a little shaky. Trying to set up the position of it so you guys can see my lovely face. All right, that takes care of YouTube. You know the drill. Gotta go to Twitter. Doing first Berserk stream. There we go. All right, on Twitter now. All right, now the links have been officially sent out. We can get started. Yes, so I meant to do this on Saturday, and we will be doing this in the Saturdays going forward. Let me just fix this. It is just I had a busy weekend with family this Saturday and couldn't start the journey as planned, but that will not stop us in the future. So in the future, Berserks will be Saturdays, but for today, we're just going to do it for Monday. And let me put the link in the chat box. We're going to be using MangaDex. I like their translation site. They usually have good translations. They're not the first ones to come out with it, but I trust them the most when it comes to Berserk. And also their paneling is pretty good. They don't have any watermarks or any weird darkened panels, so I'm going to go with them. So for those who are here today, yes, first Berserk stream counted. We will be continuing this. So overall opinions on Berserk before we get into it. I have, just like anyone else, a great history reading this and watching the series. I think it's one of the best series I have ever read, and I have only come to appreciate it more as time has gone on. Obviously, rest in peace, Kinryu, Miura. He's, we always will miss him, and he made such a great story, great characters, great world. It's a shame that he's gone. He will not be forgotten for millennia to come. His work has persisted on in so many forms, like gaming, artwork, sci-fi, fantasy. Like you can even argue the genre of seinen stories had got shaped by Berserk and Miura. There won't ever be another one like him. So rest in peace to him. He passed away last year, almost now 2 years actually. Wait a minute. So it's been, it's been so long. But outside of that, I know a lot of controversy has been popping up with the continuation of Berserk. When it was first hinted and announced that people were split between whether it was a good idea to continue the author's work without the author intent. There was only so much material that Miura had left physically with his proteges, which he did have proteges when it came to the art style and the art direction, paneling. I'm sure he also divulged story details to them that he wanted to develop in the future with his characters and what arcs he wanted to do. So, it's not like they weren't left with anything, but it is also not going to be Kentaro Miura's story, technically speaking, going forward, because now we have the proteges are taking over writing the stories. And I understand for a lot of people that doesn't feel right. It feels like we should just leave the story with Kentaro Miura, his last pages, which was technically, I believe, the Griffith returning chapter to the island to meet Guts again. That I believe was his last official pen to paper work that he had ever done. So, in my opinion, I'm not going to judge people for saying they do not want to continue Berserk without Kentaro Miura. If that's too much of a like hurdle for you to like sit through and process, okay, that's fine. I, on the other hand, because of the story, like if you've been reading the story for a long time, like it's been this story has been going on so long, longer than I have been around. But if you've been around since the very beginning, reading or even watching, even though we all know what's going on with watching the series. Yeah. But if you've been reading the story for a while, you kind of are also one of those people where it's like there was so much expectations on where the story was going to go and end that for it to be left open ended, in a way it's understandable, but it feels like, man, you'll always have this naking feeling in the back of your mind what could happen, what might have been the ending. Um, Again, people will still be like, well, it's not Kentaro Miura's ending, 100%. So therefore, it's not the real ending. I get that. I think there is certain levels of trust that we have to give to these, um, you know, proteges that are doing his work. That their ending, though it may not be Kentaro Miura's full image that he may have wanted. Who knows? I don't think anyone really knows. Um, but it at least is trying to honor him in the way of they're trying to give his story a proper conclusion to at least satisfy him and also his audience, because they're like, for those who are saying that they don't want the story to continue, there were a lot of people that were sad that will never know what's going to happen to Guts' fate, what's going to happen with Casca, what's going to happen with Griffith. Like, there's so many plot points that we have left to discover and fully expand on, and people want to know what's going on with that. So I think there is a certain give and take that we have to do with Berserk, where you have to be a little bit lenient and accept that, yeah, things are going to be different, but let's give it a fair shot first and foremost before we say, well, this ruins Kentaro Miura's work, this spits on his grave. It's like, okay, let's just wait and see. Just because it's different does not automatically mean it's going to be bad. Now, with that being said, I have been seeing a lot of people, for when they have been reading this on like whenever the chapters come out, weekly, monthly, whatever the hell, I have been seeing more people be negative. Now I can't tell if they're just being negative for the sake of being negative, like again, because it's not Kentaro Miura's work, therefore, it's bad. No, I don't want to read it now. Or if they have genuine complaints. I've seen some people say they have genuine complaints because spoilers. Which again, I don't even know why I would have to say that. If you're watching the stream before we go into the chapter reaction, you should be caught up to Berserk. If you're not caught up to Berserk, catch up regardless. It's a great series, regardless of what I have to say or anyone else to say. Do it. You're gonna enjoy it. I understand some of the art or the story might be a little graphic for most, but if you pile through it, it's a genuinely amazing story. But I've heard people say that they're not happy with the current way the proteges are taking over a lot of the characters' directions in the story. Now, to be fair, I don't think that's necessarily their fault entirely, because we do have to go back to Kentaro Miura's actual, process up until the point of his death, where I know people are kind of like iffy on what's going on with Casca's character, and that's not their fault. That she got captured again and all that. They ultimately decided to have Griffith, who Kentaro Miura brought to the island. He brought him to the island. That was his last work. So it was their decision to have him capture her. Fair enough, but it's like, what else would he have done there? But I know people are kind of upset with Casca in the recent Elf arc, where it's like they don't understand why. It's like we went through all this struggle to finally get her psyche back, but now she's just falling back into place again. So that's kind of like, Guts, I know for some people feels like he's also going into a regression or kind of like just a trough where he's not making progress against a character. They're not really sure what he's trying to set out to be now. That he kind of got a glimpse of Casca being like free for just a momentary of her torment. Especially now after he lost Casca to Griffith, because that was the last chapter that I read. He took her back to his Falconia kingdom. People are just kind of weirded out what is the direction of the story. I also know people just don't like the elf arc right now because they feel like it's too slow. Again, that's not necessarily the new people that are taking over's fault. It was ultimately that Kentaro Miura did take long breaks during this arc. So we had years and years in this arc of just progressively getting different over time, things being changed, etc. So the overall feel of Berserk has been kind of not lackluster, but kind of mid-core, not as exciting as like stuff back in the day where we got obviously like the oh my god execution arc slash we had Falconia or like Fantasia arc. I know people back in the day, which before I fully caught up to it, this arc was already over. But back in the day when people were really upset about Berserk, the main complaint was that it was the boat arc that we were, again, because Kentaro Miura took so many long breaks, kind of like Togashi. We spent so long in the boat arc that people were getting numb to it. It's like, oh my god, when's something actually interesting going to happen? I think that kind of stuff's coming back now, but it's being more negative than ever because, again, you have the fold of Kentaro Miura has passed away, and now it's left to people that aren't him. So it's like double negatives. Not only is the arc not really all that enticing, although I think there's some good stuff in it, you have now the prospect of we're going to be continuing the story without him, and people just don't like that. So for me right now, the arc, I can understand some of the negatives. I don't think it's bad. I think, if anything, it's pretty interesting on what we are getting into. Like, a huge thing that got confirmed in this arc was that there was a previous God Hand in the story, and people are going to be like, oh, well, wasn't that obvious? There were other God Hands before the ones now. That was kind of up in the air. We didn't really know if that was true or not, but we got a whole, like, little flashback segment where we see Skull Knight's, like, whole kind of life for a brief glimpse, which that's also cool. We get into more Skull Knight stuff here, which I know a lot of people really want to get into that. We saw his life, his kind of maybe wife, Casca-like figure that looks like the Elf Queen or the Elf King. And then we saw the original God Hand with Void, and Void's a huge crux to Skull Knight's character, so we get more exposition on him. We've been getting stuff on the armor, not too much as I would have liked, and we kind of like stopped with the dwarven stuff. I thought we were going to really go into that, but there was stuff that was going on with the dwarves and the armor that's really, really cool. There's Guts is being realizing, like, listen, even if I free Casca from whatever torment she has, it doesn't mean things are going to go back to the way they were. So again, that's interesting character progression on his part. Puck, is Puck. He doesn't really change that much. I forget the kid, the little guy with the red hair, him and the mermaid girl. They're kind of doing whatever. And the little witch girl, she's still there. She's still being a massive help to Guts. Roderick is really cool. Roderick, I actually really, really like. Roderick's cool. I like him being around. Hopefully nothing happens to him. And yeah, like I don't know. I think there's a lot of cool stuff in the arc. Obviously, Griffith coming here and sinking the island is like, fuck, man, fuck. This used to be a paradise, and now it's like half gone. Now it's like, shame. Okay, but enough of my spiel. Let's get into what actually people want to do, and that is read the fucking chapter. So this will be, again, as I said, first stream for Berserk. Will not be our last. We will continue on when the chapters come out. I don't know the schedule right now. I don't know if it's going to be monthly, weekly, for like a short period of time, yearly. We'll have to wait and see. Whenever it comes out, I will be ready. We will do streams, and those streams will be on Saturday for this channel. So stay tuned in that. Again, I am coming out with a schedule. We're just trying to like fine-tune the final pieces because we have a lot of stories that we are reading on the channel. So we want to make sure we have time slotted for every one of them. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are here for Berserk chapter 372. So to start off, we have a color cover of Casca and Griffith, kind of in like the sunset orange look. And that Casca with the white veil dress reminds me of post Eclipse Casca when she was in the waterfall when she already had lost her mind and everything. So that dress kind of reminds me of that. So that's kind of a little callback. Griffith looking, malicious as ever. We have the absolute being who dies all and then it just cuts off. So I assume because it's an orange red color, dies all in red. I assume. We also I noticed there's Falconia, like a little like the gigantic falcon like wall that we see in Falconia, and like the dome in the background where all the apostles fight. So that's there too. So most likely that's foreshadowing that. Well, no, not even foreshadowing. We already know because the last chapter he's taking her to Falconia. So whatever he's gonna do is gonna be interesting. It's gonna tie into the Moon Boy, but let's see what happens. So we have Berserk, #1 fantasy comic / origin story by Miura Kentaro. Original story author Miura Kentaro. Manga Studio Gaja. Director Mori Koji. Right. And then also, I guess there's a new Guts figure on sale. Go get it. Support Berserk. No matter what, I'm going to support Berserk. Yo, Lupin, I'll be honest, I don't like what Berserk has become. Okay, we'll get into it. We can discuss it after the chapter. So, I believe we have Casca open up her eyes, shock. He's disappearing into the distance. I think that's what she's saying or thinking. So we have, I think that's the island. Yeah, that's the island sinking. And she's thinking about Guts. Oh, okay. Guts is, oh, okay. There we go. There we go, Casca. So she wakes up. That's clearly Falconia, like this building. Okay. She wakes up in the building. She's in that like white veil that we see on the cover, a dream. We have maids. Definitely look like they're from obviously Griffith's kingdom. Good morning, milady. Now to dress you. So she gets dressed in this very like. Oh, actually, you know what this reminds me of? It actually reminds me of more of obviously a falcon decor because that's Griffith's whole thing, the hawk falcon feather attire. But that reminds me of her dress back in the Golden Age when she went to the ballroom. So that's maybe a nice little callback. But she's going along with them allowing her to be dressed. So clearly there's some fuck shit going on with her psyche again. My address in such vibrant crimson. Oh, maybe that's what okay, crimson. Okay. So yeah, that looks like her attire from Golden Age, but more Griffithified, if you would. It really becomes of you. Exceptional apparel, milady. Hold on, let me just fix my mic. Sewn up by the city's prominent dressmaker. Okay. And then we have the other mates. It is it's a 2-year liking. Yes, it is. So then she's walking off. Let us leave. So then we have the 4 mates follow her. And then this way, oh, my lady. She's looking at the fucking tree that was made from Shiva, or like the emperor of the Koshan Empire. Yeah. That fucking massive apostle. Which again, I'm kind of curious on like how actually this tree functions because we see because Griffith got to the island, he can travel this tree like it's actual World Tree Network and get to Guts. So I'm kind of curious how does this work more. I might have to go back and reread something, but yeah, she sees the like Elden Ring tree over here. Breathtaking, is it not? It shines even brighter today. The great helix tree. Okay, that's what they're gonna call it. Well, the world twin tree isn't. Oh, okay. So they haven't decided what name it is because it was supposed to be him as an apostle, but then it like twisted. Okay. Oh, you can call it that too. And they're all just laughing. Casca is just mesmerized by the light. Again, there's some fuck shit going on for Psyche. So, because obviously, if she was under the right influence, like she shouldn't be doing this. But again, fucked up shit. So we have Griffith's army, his nation state, and I'm sure she's looking at their suits, and that's probably maybe going to trigger something in her. That like that's the band of the Hawk insignia, but kind of like Rickett. This is my band. I followed Griffith of the White Hawks, not this Falcon of Light shit. Fuck that. Fuck it. Embarking on another campaign, I see. Right, right. Okay. So it seems they are the Band of the Falcon. The band. Oh yeah, right. I forget. Like sometimes it goes back between Falcon and the Hawk. It's the Band of the Hawk, but sometimes in the official it's called the Band of the Falcon. They are truly brave, valiant. Okay, so yeah, she talks like she's never was one of them. Which again, fuck shit. She got fuck. Damn it, out of water. God dang it. All right, so she's about to. Yeah, she's crying. A lady. Oh dear, they must have frightened you so. Mm-hmm. Let's move on. So we got halberds marching off on a campaign, apparently. By the way, another tidbit. I don't mean to rant on this or like go off into another segment. I also know people were upset or going to be upset that the art style was going to be so different. I don't know about you guys, but I'm actually okay with it. The art style, for the most part, is pretty good. There's only like a couple scenes here and there where there's like certain character designs for like either Guts, Casca, but it's only like brief moments when you notice, like, okay, I noticed the difference between Kentaro Miura and now these guys. But for the most part, no, it looks good. It's just Berserk has literally been on so many hiatuses and breaks, even when Kentaro Miura was alive, his art style has just rapidly changed. So it's like it's going to be a stark difference from one chapter to another, and it continues on now. I'm okay with it though. It looks good. It looks good. I'm enjoying it. So we see her walk off. Oh, we see her. Is this the garden area that Rickett slapped Griffith at? Or is this like a park area? Either way, this is cool. This is cool. Okay, nice scenery. So we have a bunch of people in like this meadow park. Oh, wait, oh, they're children. Okay, let's not do anything weird here, please. I know it's Berserk, but please don't do it. So we have children in like this meadow park area. Again, like the utopia, the Garden of Eden over here. So we have maids. Casca plays with these children, wrapping like doilies and all kinds of flower crowns on them. Then we transition over, so fast transition to now her at a dinner table. By the way, her mark is being clearly displayed because obviously it was on her titty. Her mark's being clearly displayed at the dinner table in this robe. Again, she looks like a nobleman, but we also know, like, again, this is not our Casca. We know this is not our Casca. Griffiths is doing some fuck shit, as per usual. So we have a steak, royal decorum, just yes, fancy. Delicious. So she eats it, very ladylike. Tea. Yeah, come on. Come on. Casca wouldn't know any of this shit. She wouldn't know any of this fuck. So then we have more for the maids. Casca in a bath now, fan service. And all right. So yes, again, so much Falcon like decoration. Like even the bathtub is like in the shape of a falcon. Oh my goodness. So fan service right there. Casca putting her face in the water, but then has a realization. Exactly. Exactly. We see Shirka. We see I forget the girl that wants to become a witch now with her brother Serpico, the elf king slash queen, Ishidora, the mermaid, yeah, Serpico in the background. She's like, wait, what? And then like the picture of them is becoming distant and foggy. This is, I assume those are tears of hers. It's the water, and there's flower petals to represent the island. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, so much mind chicanery right now. Also, again, I don't care what anyone says. This is beautiful artwork. Like the detail on the water droplet, very good, very good. And then as she's sitting in her chair, she's in the moonlight of the tree as well. And like I think is that like a dollhouse or like like if you ever like went to a bakery, they give you like a box for sweets and stuff. Maybe that's what that is. So she's sitting there in her chair, again, very ladylike. Next page, snap. There we go. Okay, okay. So she snaps awake and is just sprawled with something. She probably has a realization, okay, where the fuck am I? Get me out of this, like, mind chicanery shit. No, wait, you mustn't. You have to settle down. And she pushes them out of the way. Guards. Ooh, if she was a lady, why would the guards have to be placed around her? Exactly. So Griffith told them, like, no, don't let her leave. So then they all come in with their halberds. Casca grabs a pot. All right. And she throws it at, one of them. Okay, very nice. And she Yo, this is what we wanted, right? We wanted Casca back in action, baby. Yo, Casca grabbing a sword after she just threw a pot at someone, grabs it off their waist, and then at the same time she grabs it, she like knee kicks the dude in the armor and sends him flying, gets the sword back, and then cuts off his hand too. Yeah. All right. So that again, Casca's still in there. Like that Casca that we once loved and revered is still in there. It's just it takes so long to draw her back out because of the fuckery. So then everyone's freaking out. Oh, my arm. She like realizes we have to seize her. So okay, so something about like her wielding a sword at the end definitely traumatizes her back. So seizure, more men, back. I must go back. So there's a witch hunt. Yeah, it's like a witch hunt actually. Oh, okay. This is an interesting chapter. How they're portraying it. It's in the Casca point of view. I have to get back. If I don't make it back, then Guts, dot, dot, dot. So, I mean, Guts is falling apart right now. He needs a kick in the ass. We all do. Like, even Guts. Oh, they got her back in, like, this dreamlike, emotionless state she's in. She's back in the... Dude, this is like one of those video games where it's like, they caught you. You got to start all over again. Your memory gets erased. Okay. So, she's fighting back. It's just the army and Griffith are just OD. And speaking of Griffith, on the next page, so we see the panel of that one long city street that leads up the castle. We have his we only have 3 of his main generals. So we have obviously Grunbild. By the way, go check out the dub. If you ever want, not the dub of the actual show, go check out the fan dub. Maybe I'll link it in the actual description. The fan dub, whoever like dubbed these characters, did a really good job. I love it. It's so good. Grunbild, the Red Dragon. Oh my god. Lucas? Yeah. Lucas, the fucking Moon Knight guy, like the Silver Knight. Oh, what a fucking bitch simp for Griffith. And then Irvin, I believe, the archer dude, like he has like the eye can turn into a wolf. Yeah. Then there's like the Kushan assassin dude. I forget his name, but Rickard, like trying to escape away from him. They were successful. And Griffith in his long flowing hair as per usual in his armor. Irvin. So Irvin walks up past Lucas. He takes the knee, of course. My lord. The bird now dozes peacefully in her cage. Her flight is over. Oh, okay, so Casca. Yo, Zai! Why is such an edgelord? Oh, dude, he's such a Guts character. Just in the corner behind 4 pillars. Yo, big boy, what's good, brother? I wanted them to have a smackdown on the island. I was like, yes, let's go. Zod versus Guts. Again, what was it now? Like round 3, round 4? Fuck it, baby. You know what's going to happen. Like before Guts ever kills Griffith, he's going to fight Zod one more time and beat him. And I hope we get more Zod in the story because Zod's like a really interesting character too. Like he may work for Griffith and he's an apostle, but he's not an asshole. He's not just a dude that goes around pillaging and raping people. Like, no, he doesn't do that. So Zod in his like, regular human form, his like fur coat behind them, looking studly as ever, being an edgelord. Like, I'm not gonna stand in line. The East. So Grunbild, Lucas. Lucas replies with the East, my lord. And then there's that devilish chagrin of Griffith's face. The East. I was like, okay. The East. What is he referring to? By the way, if you actually are interested in history, Shooter / the world of Berserk is, obviously based off a little bit of real world stuff. They're supposed to be England. Are they England or are they France? I heard a conflicting of interest that they were either England or France, like they're supposed to be the location of. Either way, so that's cool. So we have the Kushans who were Indians, obviously coming over. You can also say just the Ottoman Empire, maybe. So to the east, what he would be referring to there? I'm not too sure what he would be referring to the east. So, and that's the end of the chapter. All right, that was quick. Everything naturally flows according to his will. So we have the tree that he's just so happily gazing upon, and that's the end of the chapter. All right, quick chapter. I mean, it was only going to be one chapter. Again, when the chapter comes out, I will be getting to it. I'm not going to stack this one like I do for other series. But yeah, okay. So, Lupin or anyone here now, do you guys want to do questions or complaints? Because it seems that there are just a lot of people that want to complain right now. If you want, go right ahead. We'll read off some stuff. I'm curious on what everyone's takes are. I think I pretty much know why people are not happy with the current Berserk. But let me hear it. Right now, so far, again, I don't think this is bad. Like, at the end of the day, it's just a transition that the story is taking. I still think it needs some time to really build up where the story is heading now. It doesn't help the fact that it's also, bi-monthly, if not yearly. So, like, not only is it like, oh man, we have to wait so long to see where this is going to pay off, we have to wait so much longer because the chapters come out one by one. So, you know. So, all right. First off, Lupin. My problem with the series is that Berserk was a very dark and now seems a fable. So, where exactly do you think it is more fable than a dark series? Because, again, ultimately, in the recent arc, before Kintaro Miura passed, the whole point of the arc was for them to be in a peaceful setting that was for them to recover and recuperate and kind of plan what they were going to do next. And then that all got interrupted because Griffith literally brought the darkness, quite literally, to the island. So if you're saying like nothing edgy or nothing like brutal has happened yet in the story, well, it's for a reason. It's because we were in a place of the story that didn't need to. In fact, it was kind of wanted that we had to be in a place that didn't have that. So just because it's not dark yet does not mean it won't be dark once more in the future like it had in the past. Like Conviction arc. The Conviction arc, obviously, I know a lot of people really like that arc. That one gets a lot of, like, outside of the Eclipse and the Golden Age stuff, that arc gets a lot of love because it is, like, you're saying, Lupin, very, very dark. It's very, very, over the top of a lot of its imagery and character stuff. But it's like, we can still get to that. It's just we are in the process of getting to that right now. And we're coming off an arc that was literally supposed to be no real dark thematic elements outside of Guts learning more about the Berserk armor and also Skull Knight with his backstory. And then finally, we cap off the arc with Griffith coming in and literally bringing the darkness to destroy the homeland of the fairies and also the light. So I can see what you mean, but maybe give it a little bit. Give it a little bit before you do that. Lupin once more. It was focused on Gutsu's point of view. Now seems the main character is Griffith. I wouldn't go that far. Okay. Because if you feel that way, when did you start to feel that way, Lupin? Because remember, we had an entire arc dedicated to Griffith, and that was Fantasia. Did you start to feel it back then when Kintaro Miura was still alive? Or are you saying it now when they have taken over of creatorship and we're getting more Griffith now? Because if you didn't feel that way back then, it's like, well, we had an entire arc with Griffith. And I know some people also just didn't like that because they wanted Gutsu, but it's like we need to see Griffith's point of view. He's in the human world. He's trying to, get his plans rolling. What are his plans? We have to know what he's doing, and that means we're going to have to follow his point of view. Not saying that we should like have zero or little Guts time after a while. It's just we need to know what Griffith is doing. Yes, when Miura was still alive. Okay, so you didn't like the Fantasia arc then? Is that what you're saying? You thought Fantasia / Falconia was kind of like a weird stepping off point for Berserk to do? I don't know, because again, I think it's necessary to know what Griffiths is doing. Would it be better if we find out Griffiths' plans while Guts is on screen? Maybe you can argue that, but that's not what Miura wanted. Miura, at the end of the day, wanted an arc where we focused on Griffith gaining his plans and, achieving them. And I think for the most part, that arc worked out. And then ultimately, we got back to Guts afterwards. We finished the boat arc. We got to the Elf Island, and we spent, years with Guts there, whether purposely or not purposely, due to the hiatuses. We were there with Guts for a while. And we got a lot of good Guts stuff on that arc. So outside of that one arc, Lupin, I mean, it destroys the immersion. I don't know about it. Okay, again, like, did you want like Guts to like be there when like Griffith was taking over to make his Falconia? Which is like, I guess, but it's like it's okay to have Guts like be off on his own adventures, and we just see what Griffith is doing. I think it's a good. I think it's a good idea. I thought it was fine. I thought it was executed well enough, and it didn't even last that long. It was like what 10, 12 chapters. And then we moved right back on the Guts for like a very long time. In fact, I remember people were saying for the longest time, yo, where is Griffith? We haven't seen Griffith literally in years after Fantasia. Oh, shit. My water. So, I mean, I don't know. I like getting Griffith's point of view. Yeah, ultimately, Guts is the main character, so we will be getting his point of view a majority of the time in the story, as it should be. But again, because Griffith is our leading antagonist, although some people have some iffy opinions on that, he's our leading antagonist. It's natural that we should have a spotlight for him in the story to see what he's really cooking. I don't know. Maybe people think Berserk is too different to do something so simple like that. That I don't even know, because again, like this is one of the things that I don't have an issue with. I'm not saying there aren't any issues with Griffith like getting more screen time than Guts. It's just it hasn't happened yet for me. For me, it's been balanced so far. I want Guts to go back to the lone Dark Knight. Well, okay, wait. That hasn't happened for a very long time. That hasn't happened since the end of Conviction arc, when he teamed up with Serpico, his sister. Itadori became more of a profane character. In fact, he hasn't really had that since Puck really joined. So I'm like, I don't know. Like, he said, obviously in this arc, maybe he might go the Lone Ranger arc, but the Lone Ranger mindset that Guts has had for a long time, he even says after he got Casca back after Conviction arc, he was doing the wrong thing. Ultimately, that was just fueling his anger. That was just making him drown in the misery. And because of, him getting Casca back, and also you can argue he has a second chance of having a group that generally looks out for him. He's getting saved from his inner demon. So for him to go back to being the Dark Knight, if you would, it almost would be like a regression. Like, we spent all that time with all these characters with him, and him bonding slowly, not a lot, but bonding with them. It will almost be like it was for naught. So I don't know if we're ever going to get that lone knight Guts again. But okay. I mean, I won't lie and say like those parts of the stories where Guts was on his own being a savage weren't cool or wasn't interesting. Like, no. When he was on his own, when he went to go fight Rosalind, like, that was cool. That was interesting. Like, you can argue like he has a lot of characterization by himself as well. It's just he hasn't been by himself technically for a very long time. You can argue even with Puck. So, I don't know. Like, that one for me again is another kind of weird issue. But okay, I see where your point is. He was a really unique character back then. Wait, he still is a unique character. Wait, okay. Outside of him not being alone anymore, what is different about Guts now to then that is so strikingly different? Like, Lupin, did you not like his character progression after Grunbeld when he got the Berserk armor in the first place? Because you have to admit, like, the Berserk armor quite literally was his breaking point when he finally could let off so much steam and actually cut loose. That Guts mentally and physically had a change of character. Like, that's what the white hair symbolizes. So, like, did you not like that, like, mellow? Not at all? I don't like. You didn't like it at all. All right. Well, now that like that's a deep that okay. Now we gotta really go back and dig. So you so it really seems like Lupin, you did not like a lot of the new changes that Guts was going through as a character when like Miura was still in like I argue like the prime time of his writing. So like it seems like you I think Conviction arc is like the peak point of Berserk outside maybe like the Golden Age. I don't know your arc opinions. But is it fair to say that you think like Conviction arc stages was the best that Berserk had ever been? That's before he really gets a group. That's before like the Lone Ranger aspect you wanted to argue is gone. You can argue that's when like his character was at its best. He lost his distinctive traits with other. Wait, he lost his distinctive traits with other shonen main characters. What? Wait, you're saying he's like another shonen main character, basically? What? No. If this was another shonen main character, like yo, like they would have had like so much like bullshit power of friendship. Oh well, I guess I gotta do it for my friends. Like Guts has not been that. Like the only power of friendship you've like actually had was with the witch girl, Serena Saritka, where she like in the middle of the sea god had to go in and help Guts master quote master his berserk armor. But I mean, outside of that, like, where is the shonen element? Is it this better not be like what I've been hearing? Like, people don't like Guts is like crying and shit. Like, are you serious? Like, yo, wait, Guts is allowed to cry. Like, he's been through a hell of a lot of torment. Like, I've heard these weird fucking complaints. Like, ever since like we started like the elf arc, he's been like quote moody and depressed, and people just don't like that about Guts. Like, wait, wait. His entire story is about being depressed and being upset, and that his life is a living wreck. Like that's been like since day one. Well, all of a sudden now people are like, "Oh my god, this is so annoying." It's like you're not upset with that, right? You're not like saying like he's a showing main character because he's getting battered and beaten left, right, and center, right? You're not arguing that, Lupin. At least I hope not. I mean, I don't know. Like, where is the shonen like character that Guts is becoming? Because I don't see it. I don't see it. Again, is he as interesting now than when he was back during like Conviction arc or at the end of getting the Berserk armor? Like, I think he still is. I think again, it's just slower. Like people just don't understand. Like the story right now is slower because of literally reasons that the author had to go through, but then also like the story was trying to be at a slower pace. No, he was not depressed. He was just angry. He was wait, whoa, no, no. He was literally depressed in so many scenes. It's not just anger. Yes, he was angry. He was filled with revenge. He was a quote savage. Yeah, but wait a minute. His entire life, Lupin, is literally about his life as being just a continuous struggle to exist. That's literally the whole kick caboodle with Guts. That his life is just so depressing from the outside point of view, man. Like I don't know. I don't know. Like it sounds like people just want Guts to go back to being a giant like sword wielding badass and just cut down people left, right, and center. But like when he's actually trying to have like a character moment that's like more subtle and slow, people are like, oh well, nah, that's not Guts. I want Guts to cut down 10 demons right now. But you're gonna get that. Like we're like literally at this point where we have to like rebuild Guts from the ground up, and then we're gonna get to like the actual action stuff. Like I don't know. It just feels like that people are saying that. Which I'm like, but we have characterization we gotta get to. I'm not saying maybe you're saying that, Lupin, but it just feels from some of the comments implying, and from other stuff that I've been seeing from the community, it seems that they just want Guts to go back to just Black Swordsman days, where he was just cutting people left, down, and center. I'm like, but that's not all Guts. Well, we know that's not all Guts. Guts is literally so much more than just a hack and slash character. Because by the way, if he was just a hack and slash character, though that's hype, that's not enough to keep Berserk like as good and peak as it's been for a very long time. It's because Guts actually has nuances. Though people may joke on it, because I do see that, Guts has nuances. He is a deep character. Now he's been depressed for forever. He's been depressed for literally the longest time. If anything, this is what I would say. He's less angry, which is a good thing, but now he has to focus on his depression and literally like beat the shit out of it and try and like figure out what does he want in life. And he has to realize, which he did in the current arc, that shit's never going to be the same. It will never be the same again. But what is my purpose now in life? That, at that point in time, I saved Casca, quote unquote, save Casca. There's nothing left for me here to do. Well, now what? But now that Griffiths has come back and, fucked him over yet again with Casca, it's like, he's really, really down bad now. It's like, this happened twice. I went through all that shit to get her back, and now this happened again, and I am way stronger now, and I still failed. Like, yeah, like, Guts is, like, more depressed, you can argue now, less angry, but that was kind of the whole point. We had to let go of the anger, because at the end of the day, what does the anger fuel? It refuels the Berserk armor. And what's going to happen if that Berserk armor goes crazy? They've said that. If it goes too crazy, Guts is going to die and lose his soul, just like Skull Knight. So, again, this is part of the story with Guts. Again, like, I know it's cool when Guts literally, like, just is a fucking badass and ripped and tears like he's Doom Guy, a bunch of demons. I don't deny that. But he's a deep character that has to go through this journey of humanization in so many shapes and forms. And this is right now. Like, maybe you want to say, like, this is the bottom of the barrel for Guts' character, but if we hit rock bottom, you know what that means. We're going to rise again. We got nowhere to go but up. So, I don't know. This, again, feels like a lot of people are just really jumping to just not like what's going on instead of just waiting. I get it. Waiting's hard because, again, we are on so long of a break. But I would recommend waiting. I can see the groundworks, what we're doing for Guts. Now, let's say, like, okay, Guts right now, he's in the field position on the boat. Let's say Guts is really being a bitch. Like we focus 10 plus chapters on Guts, which for Berserk would be a lot of content. We focus 10 plus chapters on Guts, and he's just like, I can't do it, guys. I can't beat Griffith. I can't do it. It's like, okay, then that's different. But you know that's not going to happen. Like, let's say we do that for 2 chapters. You know what's going to happen? Like, he's going to either by himself or with his friends there, literally kick his ass into high gear, either for revenge reasons or just because he needs to do this because Griffith is someone who's gone too far too many times. And whatever Griffith's plan now, he's going to find out and be like, all right, nah, fuck that shit. And he's going to fuck up Griffith's plans. So again, we're literally in the ground making process, and we just need to wait and see where it's going. But all right, Lupin, I can see someone like your point of view. I don't agree with all your takes, but I see where you're coming from. And it seems like from what I've read on other sources and other online mediums, that's something they feel relatively that is an issue for Guts and the story. I don't, but okay, fair enough. Okay, who else has a question? Lupin can keep typing away if he has more questions or, reasons that he isn't a fan of the current story. I'll let you guys have another minute. I just want to pull up the last chapter. They're literally watering the story because they don't want to lose their jobs. I don't think so. I think that's a bit of a jump. Like, at the end of the day, they're doing this because we had the whole thing on Twitter where it's like, yo, they were nervous about doing this or even thinking about doing this because they knew that, yeah, fans would be all in a tizzy because they were doing this job. And they, of all people, because they were the ones to work with me or respected him the most. So it's like, yeah, they're not just so prone to just, okay, we're going to take this up because we're hotshot artists that work with Miura. Like, no, they respect the story just as much as we fans do as well. So they're not doing this because they need a job. They're doing this because they truly are trying to give back to the community that loves Berserk. So I wouldn't go that far, Lupin, to say, well, they're just doing this because they need a job. It's like, no, nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go that far and say, well, that's the only reason Berserk is still going. No. And then, okay, so the other chapter. So we have all that stuff. The whole Colosseum, the castle, Lucas, Grunbeld. Oh yeah, Lady Sheris. I don't know what she's gonna have a reaction to Casca. Casca being here is very interesting because there's a lot of interaction I want to see her, but she's in like this mind fuckery state, so we have to see how and where she's gonna break out of that. And then of course Guts' journey. I actually want to know, I forgot, where did Skull Knight go? Skull Knight's gonna have to come back and do some shit. I know. For sure. For sure he's gonna have to be like, yo, struggler, get your shit together. Which is gonna happen. Like Guts is gonna get a kick in the ass from someone or another. And it's just good, which is a good thing. But he's allowed to be this vulnerable, I would argue. I would argue. They save Guts. Okay. There you go. Also, I do have a theory on how he's actually going to get stronger outside of the Berserk armor, mainly around the sword. I don't think I'm the only one that has this theory, but I have a theory that like Guts, what they introduced in the Elf arc, if you all remember correctly, there are 4 main elements of elementals in the world. Obviously, fire, salamander, water, Undine, earth is Gnome, and then wind is Sil, I'm pretty sure. Sylph or something like that. But there was a 5th one that got introduced on this island where it was about weight and gravity. It can like alter people's like how heavy they feel, and the main characteristics of these things, they were very, very small, maybe even subatomic, like elemental beings that gravitate towards dark and depressed things. And who fits those characteristics most of all? Yeah. And why do I think like he's going to get these weird gravity elemental things to his sword? Why would that be important? Because I think potentially, if we remember correctly, Skull Knight, even though he had the whole Behelit sword, he could travel to Griffith with his teleportation ability, and he could potentially land a fatal blow on Griffith. But the problem is causality protects Griffith like a sheet of armor and just bends the attack around him. He can manipulate that. However, potentially, I feel due to these gravitational elemental beings that Guts could get, maybe they can actually weigh down causality enough to fuck with Griffith's time perception, and then literally he can land an actual blow on Griffith. The problem is, obviously, at that point, it's not just causality Griffith has. He should have other godly abilities, so we're going to have to upgrade the Berserk armor, but I think that will be a way to actually land a hit on Griffith at that point. That he literally has a sword that uses like the weight and gravity of these elementals. I think it's a cool idea. Let's see. Again, if anyone has any last minute questions, do so now, or forever hold your peace as I'm trying to look at when was the last time we saw Skull Knight. We saw Skull Knight in chapter 369. Haha. So we saw him there, a shadow and light as the island was just being destroyed, sucked by the darkness. Yada yada yada. Yeah, the island got literally destroyed in half. Yeah, so sad. Right. Oh, that's right. And then a lot of the fable creatures are being sent back. Like they're going back to the ether. I remember that. Yeah, it was something like that. Like there's like a no fable law now, which is interesting. Like to Lupin's point that he was saying earlier, like, oh well, it feels more like fable. Like literally the fable creatures are being sent away now. So it's like I think we're shifting the tone back to what like people want Berserk to be, which is dark and gritty. I'm like, okay, well, if you want, we're getting rid of all these fable creatures. Again, it's a lot of like groundwork that we're doing. So Skull Knight fighting off the darkness beings and blah blah blah. Okay, so after like 369, yeah, he just disappears somewhere. He's just gone. We don't know where he went. Maybe someone mentioned it, but yeah, he's just gone. So Skull Knight should be either nearby or something to give Guts a swift kick in his rear to be like, yo, motherfucker, you gonna let your dude do that again to your girl? Come on. Come on now. You pick up that hammer because that's all hammer. You pick up that sword because you are the struggler. You are the one that will continuously get up and prove that he'll never be down and out. Something like that. All right. If there's no more to discuss about Berserk 372, then we will call it a stream today. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. I know, again, Berserk right now is kind of in this nebulous opinion. People, I think, are leaning more negative to Berserk nowadays. And I do think there is bias against it because, it's not Miura. It's not Miura. Although I'm seeing from Lupin and a lot of other perspectives, people I think for the longest time have been not so keen on what Berserk's direction has been, but now that it's in this moment where we are not with Miura, it's just gravitated and swelled even more so. But I'm sticking through it. I think there's a lot of cool things that we can gain from this, and it's being set up as the groundwork. Do I ultimately have to go back and reread some stuff? Maybe. I think we all do. Rereading Berserk isn't a bad thing, but I'm willing to stick through this and see where it's going to lead Guts in his adventures and his character. And people I think definitely do want Guts to be that hack and slash character again, but they need to realize, he's not just that. He is a very deep character. It's just that when he's just a character and he's not doing hack and slash, it's a seinen series and people want him to do hack and slash stuff, which is like, okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. But like you said, yeah, Lupin, we'll see. We'll see. Like, again, I'm giving these guys a life raft. I'm going to wait and see what they do. If they disappoint, they disappoint. And I will call it out. I'll do a video. I'll even maybe do like a Q&A. We can talk about really when Berserk fell apart. Wasn't really with these proteges. It was long beforehand. We'll do something on it. However, if they're doing a good job, I'm going to say they're doing a good job. And that includes, again, not just the storytelling and pacing, but it's going to be stuff like the art direction. I know that's also another major reason people aren't giving Berserk credit nowadays. It's because it's not Miura's artwork. The problem is it's actually good art. It's actually good art. And they studied under Miura. Is it different every now and again? Yes. I can tell the difference. I can see some of the character designs are a little bit different than what I remember. But also remember, too, outside of it just being a different person drawing it, Miura literally had like multiple breaks on end in just this arc alone before he died. The art changed from the start of the arc to when he did the last art of the chapter, literally has changed tremendously so. How many chapters has it been since Miura died? He died when Griffith came back. So let's see. 69, 68. Manga decks, please don't freeze. He came back in was it 366? No, 365. It must have been. Let me see. Yeah, I think it's 365. Is it 365? No. 364. So he passed away and left one last thing. It was 364. So 364 is literally the last chapter that Miura ever drew. According to the official sources, that was the last thing he put hand to pen to paper. So 364. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so it's been about 8 chapters. It's been about 8 chapters since Miura's been gone. So in 8 chapters, I don't think that's enough to be like, well, series is ruined. It's like, no, I'm giving it more time. I'm giving it more than just 8 chapters. And, at the end of the day, if the public really hates it that much, they can cancel it any time. The people, if they truly think this is unreadable material, they have more power and more say. I just hope they're just going to be wise about when they say, "Oh, it's time to cancel Berserk because it's not good anymore." I hope it's more than just 8 chapters. Just saying. Just saying. But all right. Again, with that being said, we're gonna call it here for the stream. So for this week, oh god, we are busy this week with chapters. Okay. So Wednesday, One Punch Man should be out. Versus should be out. There shouldn't be a One Piece chapter because I was informed because of how everything happened with Golden Week and when the scans are going to come out, we should not get a chapter Wednesday or Thursday or Friday. So we're not going to do that. It should just be those two on Thursday. On Wednesday. Thursday, we're going to do solo leveling. Cool. And then hopefully for this Saturday, I'm finishing up some final stuff for schoolwork. But this Saturday, we're going to kick off true Seinen Saturdays with Kingdom read through. I'm going to catch up. I'm really far behind, so it's going to be probably a long stream. I have to double check, but if there's 3 chapters out, maybe Friday we'll be doing Welcome to Demon School. So we got a whole thing. So we're potentially looking at Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of just reactions and stream. And I'm still working on video content. It's coming out. Don't worry, we're getting to it. But yeah, we got stuff to do this week. So look forward to that. I will make an announcement on the community page. We are getting an actual schedule made. It's just with all these series and all the different release schedules, I gotta make sure I know when is where and what can I do for scheduling wise. It is a massive process. We have more series in the future we're going to do. So it's going to be edited. That schedule is going to be crazy, but we're going to be getting to it. But nonetheless, that's what we have planned for this week. So stay tuned. You can stay tuned, by the way, everyone who's here now or watching the stream in the VOD later on by hitting the bell notification to knowing when we go live or drop a video. Or you can subscribe to the channel and hit the sub button. Yes, come on. Join us in our continuous struggle as we try to escape fate's grasp of the mundane life. Please join us. Hit the like button or dislike button if you don't like the stream or the video content, and leave a comment down below what you liked or again, from what I'm seeing a lot, what people don't like about Berserk. Your choice. Okay, and finally, I hope everyone has a good day, a good afternoon, a good night, wherever you may be. Stay safe, have fun, and know that though we may continuously struggle within our own lives, we're not alone in it. Everyone else around us is going through hardships, struggles, and that the main thing is that we always have to continue forward. It sucks. There's things that we just can't control, but we'll just need to adapt and move on. And hopefully everyone has a group out there that can really assist them and chat with, either family, friends, colleagues, doesn't matter. I hope everyone has that kind of group out there that can really, be there for them. If my content's being that for you, hey, great. If I can help you in that way, just have something dumb, white noise in the background for an hour and a half, that's great. That's all I can ever ask for, to help out people like that. But with that being said, again, till next stream, I hope everyone has a good day and a good night wherever you may be. And I'll see you then. One last comment from Lupin. We should train an AI to complete Berserk and see what happens. Oh, Jesus. You know what? Okay, Lupin, maybe for a stream in the future. When I have a better setup and I know how to do that, maybe we'll do that. If Berserk doesn't pan out, we'll see what happens if we give AI to write Berserk. It'll be fucked up, I'm sure. I'm sure. All right. So see you all on the next stream, which should be Wednesday for One Punch Man and Versus. Stay tuned to that and look out for the schedules on the community page. So, see ya. Have a good day.